Hey there, creator. Welcome to the Rooted Bliss podcast, where life isn't something you survive, it's a reality you design. I'm your host, Moses Nehemiah, author, life coach, and OG reality shifter. This series is your call to remember you're not separate from the field. You are the field. You are source. And bliss, it's not out there. It's encoded into your being. So you just have to press start. So let's talk metaphysics, manifestation, and mastery, and how to actually live as the creator of your world. You ready? Press start to bliss. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Rooted Bliss podcast. I'm so grateful that you're here. Whether this is your first time tuning in or you're curious to explore what these episodes bring. Before we dive in, let me ask you a question. Have you ever wondered if you're missing something big? Like there's some giant breakthrough moment just waiting around the corner. And if you could only figure it out or force it to happen, everything would change. I know that feeling. I've been there. And I want you to know that this podcast isn't about walking some long journey together or waiting for some distant breakthrough. It's about remembering what already is here. Because here is the secret that most people miss. The magic is already here. Today, we're diving into something that most people overlook when it comes to manifestation, reality creation. We're talking about the real meaning of inspired action, what it is and what it's not, and how you're already living it, even when you don't realize it. Because inspired action is not something outside of you waiting to appear. It's something already woven into the very breath that you're taking right now. A lot of people think that inspired action has to look dramatic. They think it's supposed to hit like a lightning bolt or feel like some giant breakthrough moment where the angels are off singing and fireworks go off. But that's not how it works. That's not how Source moves. That's how Hollywood moves. Real inspired action feels natural. It feels inevitable. It feels like breathing. This conversation right now, this is inspired action. Me sitting here talking to you, this is Source moving. And you listening right now, this is Source unfolding through you. It's happening whether you try or not. I used to think inspired action had to be some massive leap, like quitting my job dramatically or launching something huge overnight. But some of the biggest shift in my life started with something small. One day, it was just a nudge to post a simple message in a community board. No grand plan, no fireworks, just a simple post. And that post ended up opening doors I could have never predicted. Another time, it was simply getting the idea to take a different road home. And that one tiny shift led to meaning, to a connection, to a whole new path opening up. There were even times when the inspired action was to pause, to stop pushing, to rest, to allow myself to be refilled, recentered before moving on again. That too was inspired action. The kind that happens below the surface. The kind that reshapes your internal landscape before the external reflects it. The real magic is almost never loud. It's subtle. It's soft. It's steady. It moves through you when you're not even looking for it. It happens because you are breathing, because you are alive, because you are Source unfolding. Here's the deeper truth. Everything you do is part of the perfect unfolding. There is no good or bad at the level of source. There just is expansion. Even if you think you've messed up, even if you think you've wasted time, it was never wasted. It was never wrong. It was simply the experience unfolding in the now. Because all time is here, layered in this moment. And each experience reflects the movement of source through you, endlessly expanding, shifting, and offering new reflections. There is no lifetime boundaries here, only the ever-present now, where your being plays across all timelines and all possibilities at once, creating a symphony of unfoldings that is always alive, always immediate, and always yours. You cannot make a mistake inside your own simulation. You are source. You are the game master. You are the player and the programmer at the same time. I have had moments where something I worked hard for didn't pan out the way I expected. Not because I was on the wrong path, but because that experience was only meant to carry me part of the way. Sometimes we cling to outcomes thinking they're the ultimate destination, but Source has a bigger vision, one our human mind cannot always see in the moment. At that time, it felt like a disappointment, like a door closing, but looking back, it was the exact moment that opened up a new possibility. It wasn't a failure, it was a redirection. It was a preparation. It was a refinement. Another example, there were years where I thought I was off track, but because life did not look the way I expected. But every detour, every delay, every silent season was building something inside me that no fast track could ever create. It was building resilience. It was sharpening clarity. It was deepening the roots of who I truly am. Nothing is ever wasted. Every step is the path. Even the ones you would not have chosen on purpose. Even the ones that seem like a setback. Because the deeper you go, the more you realize you're not off your path. You are the path. I've always felt a pull to explore by doing, by rolling up my sleeves and stepping in, testing things, and figuring them out as I moved. I didn't crave detailed instructions or someone charting every step ahead of me. What fueled me was curiosity, the thrill of discovery, and the sense of learning from experience itself. As a kid, I was drawn to how-to shows and hands-on projects and anything that let me experiment and build with my own two hands. While the other kids were obsessed with the latest cartoons or games, I was busy learning how things worked out, taking apart whatever I could, and figuring out how to put it all back together. I loved the feeling of discovering something for myself, of wrestling with the process, of solving the puzzle, not because someone told me how, but because I wanted to understand it deeply. That energy, that drive to self-activate, that's a source energy too. It was not that I was smarter, it was that I was listening to that inner pull, that curiosity, to that voice that said, you came here to create. You came here to build. Some people came here to consume, and some people came here to create. Some came to test limits, to innovate, to break molds that were handed down without question. Neither is wrong, but if you're like me, you probably always felt a little out of place. Like you could not just sit still and watch the circus. The endless parade of distractions, surface level noise, the societal entertainment swirling around you. You had to touch it, shape it, question it, rebuild it. You had to know what was underneath the surface, behind the curtain, beyond the obvious. You've probably looked around at the circus of distractions and thought, there has to be more to this. And there is, because you're wired for something deeper. You're wired for what we call remembering, not as if you were retrieving something lost in the past, but as a living recognition, a deep awareness that arises in the now. You are wired for creation at the level of source. There's a space we all fall into sometimes, a space of drifting, reaching, distractions. Sports, Netflix, social media, shopping, porn, substances, escapes, all of these hold the same energy at the core. Distractions from presence. Not because they're evil, not because you're bad for enjoying them, not because they have no place in your life, but because when you get lost in them, when you slip into unconscious cycles, you disconnect from your own creative source. When you chase constant stimulation, you scatter your power. When you return to stillness, you reclaim it. I remember weekends where I would lose hours scrolling endlessly, binge watching shows, buying things I didn't need, reaching for anything that would help me tune out or disconnect just to blur the edges of the day. Not because I was bad or broken, but because I was trying to fill an invisible hole inside me, a restless ache that no amount of entertainment, distractions, or numbing could truly satisfy. And every time I came out of that fog, there was this gnawing feeling inside. Is this really it? At first, I thought the answer was more stimulation, more hustle, more noise, more doing. But the truth was, what I really craved was stillness. What I really needed was to come home to myself, to the real power in remembering. You don't have to run. You don't have to chase. You don't have to lose yourself in the show. These things, these games, these drinks, the feed, the screens, they're not bad, but they are only meant to be part of the experience, not the center of your being. The greatest high you'll ever feel is remembering you're the source of it all. You're the builder. You're the creator. You are the source. Here is how you know you're moving from true inspired action. It feels obvious, not forced, like the next natural breath you didn't have to plan. It feels like a clear yes inside your body, a deep, quiet knowing that hums even when your mind doubts it. It feels easy to begin, even if the path stretches you or challenges you, because the starting point feels undeniable. You don't need external validation to move. You move because the energy is already alive within you. You would do it even if no one clapped, even if no one noticed, because it's part of your natural flow. It feels like alignment, not performance, like life itself is syncing up to meet you. You trust the unfolding without trying to control the timeline. You allow the next step to arise, not being forced. Real inspired action feels like breathing. It feels like being carried. It feels like moving with the current, not fighting against it. It's not a step towards some distant goal. It is the present moment rising up to meet itself. Because when all time is here in the now, inspired action is not a means to an end. It is an expression of what already is complete within you. And sometimes it feels so ordinary that your mind almost dismisses it because it doesn't come wrapped in some drama or urgency. But your soul knows. Your soul feels the click, the resonance, the soft magic, the magnetic pull, the quiet, steady yes that doesn't need to be shouted to be true. It just needs to be lived here, now, across all layers of you that are already whole, already aligned, already unfolding. So if you're sitting here wondering when your inspired action is going to show up, it already has. This moment, this breath, this conversation, this is it. Source does not move in drama. Source moves in being. Source moves in the quiet, steady unfolding that happens every time you return to who you truly are. And when you trust that, when you relax into that, when you stop trying to force the next step and instead let it reveal itself, that's when you start creating worlds without effort. Because you're not here to chase a miracle. You are the miracle. You are the unfolding. You are the current itself. You are the quiet power that shapes reality just by being. Every breath you take, every choice you make, every gentle yes you follow, it all ripples through the fabric of existence. You're not here waiting on life. Life is moving with you. Stay rooted. Stay bliss. You're already living it. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future drops. And if this conversation sparks something inside you, even a tiny remembrance of who you truly are, then consider this your invitation to go deeper. Rooted Reality is not just a group, it's a living ecosystem, a space designed to anchor you back into your knowing, your power, your embodiment. Inside, we're not chasing outcomes. We're not outsourcing our authority. We're not waiting for signs or proof. We're embodying truth. We're living the code. We are walking as source. Rooted Reality is for the ones who know that they're not here to fit in. They're here to bend the game, to build new worlds from within, to live reality creation as a way of being, not just a concept. If you're ready to live from the version of you that has already arrived, if you're done waiting for the permission, if you feel the pulse of this remembrance deep inside you, you'll find the link in the show notes below. There's no pressure, no pitch, no scary tactics, just an open door and a community of powerful beings already inside. And whether you choose to walk through it today, tomorrow, or at your own perfect timing, just know this. You are already doing it. You are already the unfolding. You are the master of your own game. You are the current. You are the force. You are the builder and the built, the code and the creator. Until next time, own it, be it, and flow it. And remember, reality is yours to shape.